How you doing, guys? Big Mac Down School here again today, back once again with another episode of my Conquest series for you. Today we're taking a look through the pages of issue 63. Oh, my giddy ants, what a day I've had. Started work at about 4:30 this morning, finished at about 6 this evening. Got home, just finished reading the magazine now after eating my tea and stuff like that. My voice feels like it's going to go, so there may be some editing in this video. I'm hoping to do it in one hit though if I can. I've had a coffee with a load of honey in it to hope that holds my voice together. Anyway, back to the magazine. You don't need to know my troubles for the day, but I need to get this edited probably by bedtime. Well, ideally by bedtime, yeah, I don't want to be doing it in bed. Get this edited by bedtime to get it up for you first thing in the morning. And bedtime's like 10 o'clock, so I need to film it and edit it in about 20 minutes, so I better stop waffling, hadn't I? Yeah, so this week's magazine of Conquest, issue 63. What do we get with the issue? We get the Poxwalkers, 10 of the Poxwalkers. These are the ones that come in the Dark Imperium box set. It's hard to place a value on it, but on the other ones I place a value of £17.50, so you're saving around £9.51, is it? Something like that. Yeah, you're saving around £9 basically. What else do you get in the issue? You get Death Guard reinforcements, which is what we get free with the issue. Deathshroud Terminators and Discover the Aeldari. I was hoping this issue was going to be quite light on lore and stuff, so I could read through it more quickly. But unfortunately, well, fortunately really, because it's a thrilling issue. It's very lore heavy, but it just means it's made it slightly harder for me to get this video edited in time. Hopefully, I will do. Deathshroud Terminators. Deathshroud Terminators are elite side-wielding warriors swollen with Nurgle's repulsive gifts. During the Horus Heresy, or before the Horus Heresy, the Deathshroud were selected from veteran warriors whose squad mates were slain, and they were the only ones left of their squad mates, kind of thing. And once they put on the Deathshroud armour, they never took off. They never walked amongst the rest of the Legion without a mask, without hiding the face, basically. You don't know who the Deathshroud are, and they don't talk in combat, other than occasionally to give orders, but not very often. So basically, it's to disguise who they actually are as an individual. They become part of this elite force of Deathshroud Terminators. And prior to the Heresy as well, an interesting fact for you here. Prior to the Heresy, there was said to be at least 2 Deathshroud, no more than 49 paces from the Primarch Mortarion. And that's interesting because there was no Nurgle taint at that point, but the square root of 49 is 7. 7 is an important number to the Death Guard, even before they were followers of Nurgle, and it's an important number to Nurgle as well. So it's an interesting little point there, and was it always destined that the Death Guard would fall to Nurgle? I think so. The 3 Deathshroud Terminators, now I'm not going to read that because it's just about the picture below. Yes, so there's a little bit about the Death Guard for you. I'm going to fly through this issue if I can, other than saying, oh, it's taken me ages to get to this. Right, so the Legacy of Secrecy, which is Dark Angel's lore. I'm just going to touch on one little bit of the Legacy of Secrecy here, and that bit will be the Howl of the Wolfen. During the time of the Wolfen, when the Wolfen returned to the galaxy from the warp, from beyond the Cadian Gate, what was that bit called, of the Warp Rift? I have completely forgotten. The Eye of Terror. So the Wolfen returned from the Eye of Terror, and it was a time of great upheaval, great threat in the Fenris system. Demons were massing on the worlds of the Fenris system, Midgard in particular, or Midgard, sorry. No, Midgardia, not Midgard. I'm getting mixed up with Thor, I think. So Midgardia was a world in particular that was heavily infested with demons in the Fenris system, and the Dark Angels show up to try and help defend the Fenris system, and basically it's like, they're like, the Dark Angels and the Space Wolves are, they're always rubbing each other up the wrong way, as is. It's happened since the days of the Horus Heresy. I've touched on it in previous videos. But yeah, the world of Midgardia, was heavily infested with demons, so the Dark Angels basically blew it up. They destroyed it with orbital bombardments and stuff like that, and then that annoyed the Space Wolves, and then it was all going to kick off. But then they found on the rock the Changeling, which is a demon of Tzeentch, known to take the form of others, and then twist their actions to Tzeentch's will. And this was all part of a plan thought up by Magnus the Red, great adversary of the Space Wolves, and of Luminous in particular, the Primarch of the Space Wolves. And the idea was to create friction in the Imperium, and in particular between two legions where friction already existed, and to exacerbate that friction. But the Grey Knights were there. There was a detachment of Grey Knights there that had used their psychic powers to foresee this this great upheaval in the Fenris system, and they got there in time to help rid the system of the demon infestation, or to attempt to at least. And between the small Grey Knight force that went there, the Dark Angels and the Space Wolves, they managed to fight off the worst of the demon infestation. And the Grey Knights, I think, sort of stood in the middle, in between the two legions, sort of held up their hands and said, "Hey, you two, just back off," like a teacher separating two school kids fighting. But it's interesting though, that because the Space Wolves and the Grey Knights have come to blows in the past, and the Dark Angels aren't beyond coming to blows with other legions as well, or other chapters rather. There was an incident. I'll just flip to the previous page again. There's an incident with the Black Templars. They fought alongside the Dark Angels on the world of Parabolus in an attempt to weaken renegade pirates who used this world as their base. However, a dispute over a Black Templar's prisoner causes both chapters to briefly engage. The incident is reported to an inquisitorial inquiry. Is reported, and an inquisitorial inquiry commences. So yeah, the Dark Angels, they quite often get aggravated when somebody won't hand over individuals that they think are part of the Fallen, or have information that can lead to the Fallen, and that is the Fallen Dark Angels. The Dark Angels fell to heresy during the Horus Heresy, fell to chaos during the Horus Heresy. So yeah, they above all else, they put their desires to hide their secrets of the past. They put that ahead of what is actually right to do, really, because they don't want everybody to know about the secrets. And although we have all the lore here, and in the Dark Angels Codex, it's got lots of lore in there and stuff, in the wider Imperium, the other chapters aren't actually supposed to know about that lore. Anyway, on to the next page, we've got the Aeldari. The Aeldari were the first race that attracted me to Warhammer when I was about 12 years old, and in particular it was just striking Scorpion models back in the day. But yeah, it's just a couple of pages dedicated to the Aeldari, and how the Aeldari as a race are now split into lots of different factors. So we've got the Aeldari. The Aeldari themselves, we've got the Exodites. Number 3 is redacted, but judging by the picture and the little symbol next to the picture, it looks like Slanesh, and then Craftworlds, Corsairs, Outcast, Drukhari, Harlequins, and Inari. There's not a lot of lore in there about the Aeldari. It's just kind of general, and then it tells you about the different sub-factions within the Aeldari. It was the Craftworld Eldar that first drew me into 40k. They were just called Eldar at the time. But yeah, they changed the spelling to Aeldari, Aeldari. It's like it's Old English sort of spelling, and you see it in some Nordic languages as well, with an A before an E. A lot of the medieval kings, Alfred, Aelfrich, and they have a spelling of an AE, and it means like elf-like, basically. So it's quite apt that they're using that spelling now, because the Aeldari are very elf-like. So yeah, the prefix, the AELF prefix, although it's AELD here, That indicates like elf-like in Old English names. So anyway, on to the next page. The Raven Guard successor chapters. I'm going to touch on two. I've picked two out for you here. We've got a very interesting one here, the Blackguard. This chapter believes in the timely application of overwhelming firepower to defeat their foes. So very much against what you'd expect from a Raven Guard successor chapter. Raven Guard are normally adept in stealth warfare and subterfuge and stuff like that. The Blackguard deploy mass batteries of artillery and tanks to annihilate their enemies in an instant. Overkill or half measures are not concepts that the chapter's warriors understand. So that is very much against the grain, as I said, of what you'd expect of a Raven Guard chapter. One that goes with the grain and kind of exemplifies the Raven Guard ideals, I'd say, is the Raptors. On the next page, the Raptors are an ancient, well-respected chapter. They prize marksmanship and independent thought, viewing Codex Astartes as a set of guidelines rather than strict rules. The Raptors are known to field many 10th Company assets and waves of combat skimmers. So, very much what you'd expect from the Raven Guard, like I said. It's interesting that despite the fact that both are successors of the Raven Guard, the first ones, the Blackguard, they're not very black. They've got black shoulder pads, helmets and arms, but the rest of them's white. The Blackguard, they enable you to play. If you want to have a Raven Guard successor chapter, you can still have like tank heavy forces and stuff. You can still have diverse forces. Just you might have to paint them up as Blackguard rather than Raven Guard. And then for Raptors, if you want like a scout heavy force or a vanguard heavy force, then you can have your Marines painted up as Raptors, and it's thematic. It's sticking with the theme of that particular chapter. On to the next page, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Must be 6 pages. Yeah, 6 pages of Silver Templars lore here. That is amazing. There's actually no painting guide in this issue. We've had a painting guide for these models before, about 3 issues back, something like that. There's no need to give us another painting guide. If you want, you can change up the colours. Where you painted some white on a bit of clothing before, you could paint some blue. Where you painted some blue, you could paint some red, and so on and so forth. But anyway, back to this Silver Templars lore. This is about the battle for Novaris, and it's about one of the first major conflicts the Silver Templars were involved in. They were involved very much in the Indomitus Crusade for a couple of hundred years, it says here. And they were rewarded with a chapter planet of their own. So the gene seed that was used to create this Primaris chapter, the Silver Templars, was Ultramarines gene seed. And they set out on the Indomitus Crusade with Rabute Gilliman, and then they came to the world of Novaris, which was like a feudal world at the time. It was kind of overlooked by the Imperium until the opening of the Great Rift, and then it's in quite a strategically beneficial location to hold that world. It's like right at the Cicatrix, not the Cicatrix Maledictum, that's the rift itself, isn't it? I can't remember the name, but there's like a safe passage through the Great Rift. Is it the Nachman Gauntlet? Possibly. But anyway, it's at a very strategically beneficial location along the Great Rift. And they had to capture this world back from the forces that were inhabiting it. The forces that were inhabiting it were basically Slaanesh Space Marine forces. It doesn't say that the Flawless Host, it doesn't say that they're like an offshoot of the Emperor's Children, but they very much look like Emperor's Children to me. They've got a Slaanesh symbol on one shoulder pad. They have purple armour, but these are all things you can associate with Slaanesh as well as Emperor's Children. But basically it says they're like a Renegade Space Marine chapter, and they are bad boys. They've got mutations on the face. This Marine you can see here, it's got pointed ears, almost elf-like. I wonder why that is. So the world of Novaris had a lot of really good weaponsmiths on there. It's a feudal world, so they're I think kind of living in the Dark Ages, and really good at crafting weapons. And then the enslavers, the Flawless Host, captured this world and got them to, they built a fortress there, they were going to build an empire from there. Its location to the Great Rift was beneficial to them because they could summon demons into the warp and stuff like that, which they did in the battle that happened once the Silver Templars arrived to reclaim the world for the Imperium. They summoned these demons, all the sorcerers were working to summon these demons, but then the chapter master of the Silver Templars went to find these sorcerers to prevent the Great Summoning from continuing, and he did, and he slaughtered some of the sorcerers, and then the portal that was open to that the demons were pouring through exploded, and the gods Slaanesh abandoned the chapter master of the I've forgotten the name already. The chapter master of the Flawless Host, he abandoned him, and the Soul Slaver, as he was known, leapt at the Space Marine. They duelled for over a day. The first captain, and this is so bad, this section, I apologise, but I am tired. The Soul Slaver duelled with the first captain of the Silver Templars for over a day, with enhanced abilities of Slaanesh backing him. However, once the portal closed, Slaanesh abandoned him, and then the head was taken off of the Soul Slaver. And the Silver Templars won the day and the world. Fantastic. On to how to build Death Guard reinforcements. I'm not even going to talk about that because how to build sections are nice and easy to follow. We don't really need this how to build section. I'm not sure why they put it in, other than there's another way to build the Space Marine that comes on the sprue, depending on what parts you've used already. But we've got that exact same how to build section a few issues back, so I'm not sure why they've put that in. They could have put more lore in. They could have put a bigger rules section at the back, bigger mission section at the back, or something like that. But on to this week's mission section anyway, the Destroyer Plague. This week's mission is all about... what could it be about? Could it be about contaminating water by any chance? I think it could, yes, because this is the text we had a few issues back, issue 60 I think it was, or 61 possibly. We got text from which I suspected was from this issue. I can confirm it is from this issue now because it's got exactly the same text in here, unfortunately, which means we don't have a mission for issue 60 or 61, whichever issue it was. It's unfortunate, but if you want to check out, I think it's Tabletop Donkeys, I'll put a link in the description below. They created their own mission. I was going to create my own mission and talk you through it, but they created their own mission. They sort of created balanced sides, and they play through that mission on their channel. So I'll try and remember to pop a link specifically to that video in the description below for you, and maybe in the top left corner of this video. See if it comes up. Is it coming? I don't know. So I doubt I'll put it in tonight. So first, look in the description. They've created their own mission for that issue using the objectives, the 8 objective markers I think it was, that we got in that issue. So it's just frustrating. I've not seen on the Conquest Facebook page or anything any text to say, oh, we're sorry about that messed up editorial section at the back. And here's a mission for you. I've not seen anything like that. But over on Tabletop Donkeys, they not only did they film the mission, they put basically, in the same way they would in this back page of the magazine, they put the sides that compete in the mission, they put deployment, they put everything in there in the description of their video. So definitely check out that video if you want a mission, if you're not comfortable creating your own missions. Check out that video there, and you can use that mission instead of the useless mission we got in that issue. Onto this Hold Back the Horde battlefield mission, blah blah blah. This mission uses an additional piece of terrain that is printed on the inside back cover of the magazine. Way, we've got it as well, not like that issue a few issues back. You place that on the centre of the battlefield as shows on the battlefield picture here. Just flicking down to the armies, that's the objective we're going to be fighting over. Flicking down to the armies, the Death Guard get 3 command points, Typhus, 3 units of 10 Poxwalkers, which we can actually field now because we're having us Poxwalkers after this issue. 10 Chaos Cultists, 5 Plague Marines, that is 46 miniatures altogether. Space Marines get 3 command points. Primaris Chaplain, Primaris Ancient, 2 units of 5 Intercessors, 5 Reavers and 3 Aggressors. That is 20 miniatures altogether. Space Marine player deploys their units first. The Death Guard player's units move on to the board edge at the start of the movement phase. The Death Guard player takes the first turn. Space Marine player is victorious if they manage to stop any of the Poxwalkers reaching the water pipe, marked in red in the centre of the battlefield there. The Death Guard player wins the game if they manage to get any Poxwalkers into base contact with the centre of the walking pipe marked in red. It's basically the great bit that you can see on the screen behind you, assuming I've flicked to the right picture behind me. This game lasts 5 battle rounds. Flicking to the back page, we've got Astro Granite coming next week. Yeah, there we go. It's £4.75 or something for a pot, so it's going to be a low value issue. Not only is it a low value issue, we've had it a few times before. I'm not too bothered because I'm flying through Astro Granite at the minute. It would have been nice if they put Astro Granite debris in. The following week we're getting Space Marine Heroes. These are the 2 miniatures, 2 character miniatures that came in the Betrayal at Calth box, which was released a few years back. And they're nice miniatures. I've still not painted mine that I got with that box a few years back, because I was in the middle of converting one into a Cataphracti Scarab Occult Terminator captain kind of dude. For 1,000 Suns. But anyway, yeah, let's get back to this. They're nice miniatures. They're £30, so it's going to be a great value issue. That you're saving about 75% there, just under. Yeah, so let's see what we're getting in next week's issue. Let's see if Conquest, Hatchet Partworks, or Games Workshop perhaps themselves decide they want to help us out with the mission in that issue that we can't play. But yeah, stay tuned for future videos. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Sorry I've not been more high energy. It's just been a long day, like I said. And I'll see you on the battlefield.